Okay, sounds good.
This meeting to Real Town Council order, September 12th, 2024. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Sorry we're getting started a little bit late. We had an EDA meeting an hour and a half ago. We had a police committee meeting, and now we ran up over here. So lots of meetings going on. So I apologize for starting late. Okay, the first thing, as we always have, is I'm sure everyone's had a chance to review you have 2 minutes. You have the special meeting that we had last August 8th and the regular town council minutes. Anybody have any questions or changes or corrections on those? Now's the time. If not, we need a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve?
Thank you, Sarah. Do I have a second? Thanks. Go around the room.
Yes.
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 Okay, everyone's got a copy of the treasurer's report. You'll notice that Melinda's added, along with the interest that we're receiving off of our account, she's also added the monies we're expending on grants that are due to being reimbursed to us. So you'll see that the savings went down by 20 grand and there's 20,000 worth of reimbursable grants coming. So she's going to keep those on there until we get reimbursed and pull them off so everyone's more aware of where our money's going. And any questions from Melinda on the treasurer's report? Okay. Bills for payment. Everybody's got your list of bills. Any questions on those bills?
Excuse us.
No problem.
Slippery chair.
Okay. Any questions on the bills? Then I need a motion to approve, please.
Make a motion to pay the bills?
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Sharon. Around the room?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Police report, Chief. You got anything to talk about? You can mention the SWAT cameras and that they're going now if you like. I think it'd be a nice thing to have out on the...
If SWAT cameras have been deployed 4 locations around town, so those will record license plates that are coming into town or leaving town on those avenues. And that data is available to us and any other police departments that have the same license plate reading cameras. So we'll have access to Harrison Works cameras, Woodstock's cameras, that kind of things. As we discussed in the police meeting, it'll alert us if there's a missing person that's associated with a certain license plate or stolen car, that kind of thing. And also, from an investigative standpoint, if there's a suspicious person that's been hanging out in the park in the town and they provide a license plate, we can check and see if they've been coming into our town and things like that. So it'll be a good investigative tool, not just for us, but data for other agencies to use to track down crimes and other problems.
Right.
So, the grant for ARPA, the last money has been spent, we've on reimbursement from that, correct? We haven't received it, but we've applied for it. So grant money and then the computers that were approved for 25% matching remarkably came in already. So we're working on setting those up, hopefully have those deployed next week if all goes well.
And he also told us he's helping out our friends in Mount Jackson, need some help with some equipment, and trying to see if we can give them some our help or some of our used equipment to help them out. So
Yes, sir.
I think that's a great to help other departments.
Yep.
Okay. Any questions for the chief at all? Okay, AC, we're down to you, sir.
All right, first thing I have is on the Macaulay Drive sidewalk project. I met with VDOT and the contractors yesterday for a pre-construction meeting, and the contractor wants to begin on that project on the 26th of this month. That's what they're shooting for. And they really feel they're gonna be able to get in and knock it out quick. So that includes the sidewalk from the corner down to Fourth Avenue, right there where the community center is, and a crosswalk across 42 out here, which will make us feel more comfortable as we see residents and visitors trying to get across that road instead of playing Frogger. And we continue to work on review and provide comments to developers of the residential subdivisions and commercial properties that people are looking at that plans have been approved for, and that the development hopefully will start soon. So that's everything I have under public works, I believe.
So, yeah. Chris, you got anything? You good? Thanks for getting your report out early for us.
You're welcome.
Okay, business and industry. I saw you had something on your list there, AC.
I do want to mention that the Jewelry Vault has moved one door down from where they used to be. They moved into the old Strickler's Furniture location, and Neil and whoever assisted him in the renovations have done a great job. It looks really good in there. I think he's talking about partnering with Randy at Randy's Do It Best sometime in October for a grand opening. And so they'll promote that. We'll get some promotion out for them as well. And I encourage everybody to go visit just to see it. It's a really nice looking location.
Yeah, go visit. He's very proud of what he's been able to do.
And then we had an EDA, I think the mayor mentioned that, we had an EDA meeting this evening at 5:30, first time we got together. We're going to try to get together on a more regular basis and figure out what are some of the things that the EDA can do to help promote the town, promote business growth, just a whole variety of things that we're looking at. So we're going to meet next month again, depending on how frequent we need to do that. We want to start meeting on a quarterly basis at least, but we do have a few things going on.
That's all you got?
That's it.
Any idea when Mr. Garcia is going to be open?
The last thing I was told was that they were open in September sometime, this month sometime. But I know they made quite a bit of improvement, progress down there. The inside's looking really nice. So.
Where's the business license at? Because what do you call it?
The building permit?
Building permit. It's non posted.
Okay, we don't, that's the county's,
Well, I see.
that's the county's
Yeah.
review
But-
process, so.
It's non posted.
Depends on what all they did, whether they needed a permit or not. But I don't know.
At least they know.
Anything else on that? Anything?
Nah, nothing else on business and industry.
Meeting doing quick. Okay, Parks and Rec.
Bathrooms just about done.
Hopefully
Not
done
sure.
soon.
Yeah,
Doors locked, I can too.
yeah. But they did make it, it looks really nice too. So, our next event won't be until October when we do Trump or Treat. So it should be
It should definitely.
impressive that it'll
Yeah,
be
President's
by
gotta be
that
done by
time,
then.
so
It's gotta be done by then.
That's it.
That's it. Wow, we went right through it. Okay, we're down to finance. We have the personal property tax relief percentage to be established. And I guess everyone understands why that's like it is. Do they not even see?
Does anybody have any questions on that? We do it once a year, and so and it's kind of a strange concept to a certain extent.
When the state of Virginia many, many years ago decided to start reducing personal property, and they were giving a certain amount of money to the towns, and then through different people getting elected, it went away.
They froze it.
And they froze it at the current amount you were getting, and it never changes. So as your town grows, it gets split.
As the town grows or as the vehicles get more expensive?
It gets split more and more, it gets watered down more and more every time, is what ends up happening. So you got, I don't know how much you get on tax relief, what was it?
$14,082.
Right, so $14,082 gets spread amongst all the vehicles in town. So it gets smaller and smaller every time. But it's still, right now, AC said it, what did you say here, 28% is what we have now?
That's our current tax relief rate is 28%.
So if you leave it at 28, it changes, the town ends up being $392 to the good, basically.
Mhm.
I make a motion that we make it 29%.
29%. Okay, got a motion 29%, we have a second at 29%. Any further discussion? Okay,
Yes.
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 awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, that's all you have for finance right now?
So,
Okay. Personnel, anything from personnel?
Yes, sir.
our report, we have one of the teachers at the high school reached out to me about having a student come and do a mentorship with us. And so met with her today, and she'll be here, I think it's on the odd days, so every other day that she'll be in here. She's really interested in marketing, graphic design, social media, things like that. So she'll obviously probably be working with Cecilia a lot, but she's a junior, so she's trying to figure out her direction of where she wants to go when she goes to college. And she said she's willing to do whatever. So we told her that we'll give her a good taste of town government and all the things that go into it. It might be something that strikes her fancy in a different area that might lead her down the path. She's very, very intelligent individual, and seems pretty excited to be here, and we're excited to have her. So
It's fantastic.
it is, yeah.
The more people you involve and who looks up, the better off.
Especially young people.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, anything else on that, AC?
Um,
We're already
Oh,
down.
let's see, for the personnel, yeah, we can talk about I sent out the memo about the recommended changes for the sick leave bank. Quentin was telling me that they reviewed it in his office and don't have any issues with it, said everything looks good. It's just, as unfortunate as it is that we need to be able to offer this, but we have had this occurrence several times, and, it's a hardship and I had several employees that came to me and said, hey, can we get this set up to help out these employees that have families that are losing out on their wages? So that's where it all originated from.
So it basically just allows employees to donate their sick leave to other employees.
I make a motion that we put that in our ordinance. Yes, definitely.
And it'll be good in the handbook.
In the handbook, yes.
Personal handbook. Okay, we have a motion that we adopt this in our personnel manual.
I'll second.
We have a second. Any further discussion?
I just have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
And maybe this was in the email that you sent out, Austin, and I just don't remember it. If someone were to donate their time to the bank, and then life happened and they need it back, is that something that we're capable of basically giving the time back to them?
And the way that it's set up, really, I mean, it's going to be the more senior employees probably that are going to be making most of the donation.
Right,
And
right.
so they have to keep a certain amount.
That's right, 40 hours.
They have to keep a certain,
Okay.
yeah, and most of them will be well over
Okay.
that 40 hours.
Okay.
But if it's in the bank, it's nothing to say that they couldn't.
Right, okay,
We
yeah.
couldn't grant it back.
I figured as much, but since they're giving it out of their own goodness, I figured as much, but I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't as like, oh, sorry. It's ours now.
And usually by the end of the year, right? It's like unused time.
Well, they could donate it at any point throughout the year. End of the year is kind of the logical time.
Logical time, yeah. So like I had another client that did this, and there was somebody who had donated year after year after year,
Mhm,
right?
yeah.
And then they had a terrible situation, and so they needed to use leave bank time, but it was like they had kind of banked their own
Right.
time. You know what I mean? And so that's typically how it works out, is that
Yeah,
because you can't carry it from year to year.
right. I just wanted to make sure that that was, like I said, you probably covered it in the email, but I just,
And I don't foresee, with our group of team members, I don't foresee anybody abusing this. And it's at our discretion as to how much we give out, if we give it out type thing too. So if we see, if we see patterns of abuse
Yeah.
occurring with that, then we just say, no, I'm sorry, you've reached
right.
the
That's a
limit,
small-
you've used it too much, so it's.
Yeah, and that's a nice thing about being a small group of people is that we're flexible that way. Okay, that was the only question I had.
Good question.
We did that in the school.
So we have motions, probably second. All in favor?
Yes.
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 Yes. Thank you.
Carl, you can just nod if you want to, since it's already talk. Just nod, thumbs up, I'm good. I'm good. Okay. Your voice is going as we go here tonight. Anything else, AC?
That's all the health personnel.
Okay, Sharon, you got something for the museum for us today?
Yes, September 22nd will be our 26th anniversary celebration at the museum. 1 o'clock will be light refreshments. And 2 p.m., the historian Greg Owens will speak on World War II, the German labor camp that was in Timberville. And he's excellent. And then November 3rd is the author and art sale.
Is that a Sunday?
Yes.
Second?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if I'm
And that's all.
okay. And what time?
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock he's speaking. Okay, thank you. Okay. Mr. Garvey, got something for us?
Got a little bit, but. I was reading my dad's diary the other day, so I wrote down a couple things. It might not be too exciting, but,
Do you have a diary too?
huh?
Do you have a diary too that AC can,
No, I tell everybody they need to keep a diary. I don't.
I know.
Why do you have to bring that up?
I was just asking because I'll expect AC one day to say, I'm reading from my dad's diary.
You read from his grandfather's diary.
Granddad's
That
diary.
might be better. I'm one of the few people that can read the handwriting, so.
Oh, okay. Okay, sorry about that.
All right, it was Friday, February 8th, 1924. The play Listen Ladies was given by the ladies of the town and community in the school auditorium. Auditorium was nearly full. Saturday, February 9th, 1924. Harrisonburg and Timberville basketball teams played games tonight in the Timberville gym. The Harrisonburg girls won over the Timberville girls 18-6. The Timberville boys won over the Harrisonburg boys 28-16. Saturday, February 16th, 1924. The movie playing at Timberville tonight was Peg of My Heart. It was simple and a good picture. Thursday, February 28th, 1924. The play The Path Across the Hill was given tonight in the school auditorium at 8 o'clock. Not so many present, but the play was very good. Saturday, March 1st, 1924. The movie playing at Timberville tonight. The Courtship of Miles Standish. It was very good. Large number of people present. Friday, March 21st, 1924. The movie at Timberville tonight. Vanity Fair. It was difficult to follow, but it was good. Comments, and I read years ago, and he always had good things to say about it. I only heard one negative that his comment in 70 years of diaries that he made wasn't very good. But he went to Newmarket to a movie one night. I don't remember what year it was, in the 20s, of course. And he wrote in his diaries, it was pitiful. So that must not be very good. He probably named it, I can't remember that one. But Saturday, April 5th, 1924. The Fourth Musketeer was a movie playing tonight at the theater in Timberville. It was simple and entertaining. Now, the theater, as most people know, is down beside where the motor sales was at. And the screen was 10 feet by 10 feet. And they had benches, you didn't have chairs to sit in, so I guess you had to sit there with your back straight. And the benches were angled, they were at an angle of facing the screen.
Okay.
Now, I had a newspaper article on this that told all this stuff years ago. I had it at home someplace. And Ruth Vaughn, that was Dr. Vaughn's daughter, she played the piano. And then when they got a player piano, she was out of the job. And,
Darn AI.
and for a while, B. May told me this years and years ago. And of course, I guess she attended some of the movies. But you could turn in an empty bread wrapper, and that would get you into the movie. What do you think they used them for? Because there wasn't any war going on then.
No idea.
And I've never figured out why. But anyway, that's what she told me one time. So somebody must have had a use for her, but that would get you into the movie for no charge.
So it was benches, how many seats were in there?
I never did hear how many seats, but
Yeah.
if I had to guess, I'd 40 maybe.
Yeah.
But you had benches sitting there, and, you know, I don't know how many benches it was or anything, but I know it said they were at an angle. We've got pictures of the theater too, if anybody wants
Oh,
to look at it
yeah,
after the,
yeah.
after the meeting. So, I can't go turn my computer. Then we talked before about when, sometimes when the film would break, and whoever's running the projector, if they didn't get it fixed fast enough, people would start yelling and stomping their feet. I think we talked about that before. Now, when my cousin Virgil was 10 years old, and he was born in 1916, so it's been 1926, which is exactly the right time-wise. Well, they let him in free, and when he would crank the Victrola to make music for the movies. And that must have been when they were not using the piano. And of course, back then, you have to remember, everyone was saw movies, of course. Let's see. I think I'm done. I didn't know, I got more, but we won't go through all those. But one thing here, on the Monday, May the 12th, 1924, the river was as high or higher than it has been since 1877. It was the highest about 2 o'clock in the morning. 3/4 feet of water was in the lower floor of the mill. Now, we're talking about over the cold storage. Of course, they had the mill store and all. And the water reached the storage wall. So if this is 1924, and that was high, it's been since 1877, the river was up pretty high. So,
I would think.
You answered one of my questions. Your dad did a diary for 70 years?
yes, it is.
When did he start the diary?
His first entry, of course, my dad was a lot older than other people my age. You know, I went through high school with some of my friends, and my dad was 31 years older than their fathers. So he raised Virgil and Liv, you know, he raised his nephew and niece, and so he didn't get around getting married until he was 48. He was pretty smart.
So how old was he when he started his diary?
First entry, 1902. Today I am 16 years old.
And he did it for 70 years.
72 years, he died in 1972.
That's amazing.
Wow.
And so that's hard to believe, you know, that's my most valuable possession.
I could imagine.
And,
I could imagine.
but everybody should keep a diary. I don't.
Okay. Anything else on the museum? Then, council have any other business?
I do.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to speak to item number 4 that was on the council item that AC sent out.
Number 4.
The town shop drive about the
Yes, ma'am.
possibility of securing the town shop property.
Uh-huh.
I know I sent an email and then I actually spoke to AC on the telephone, and the thought process was about possibly putting a fence around the property with a gate at the beginning of it. And you had said about other people parking on that property and things like that. And a near miss with almost hitting somebody else's vehicle that was parked on the property. I guess after that had happened, you must have spoken to the property owner who had the vehicle there, like as a neighbor would do that, talk to that property owner and say, you know, they can't park on town property, because I have not seen any other vehicles down there.
Yeah, it's on and off throughout the years.
Okay, because the only vehicles I truly see are townhouse. I mean, you all are in and out all day long, see you all the time. I see the cops' vehicles going in and out of there all the time, and very rarely do I see other people's vehicles. So my thought is, I just really think that spending the money to put a fence around that entire property and put a gate around, in my opinion, would be a waste of money. And money that could be more wisely spent on something else that could more benefit the town. Like I know Paul has talked many, many times about sidewalks going down to Memorial Park and all that. So I just hope that council members, future council members, and people who are going to be on whenever this does come up again, would think about the cost to the town and better use of that cost for other things.
And we've talked to a couple of the residents down there since.
And it would negatively impact several of the residents down there. And I've spoken to them too.
Yeah.
I've come and spoken
And
to
so
them.
obviously we don't want to put a fence up because it because of the cost, if we put it all around the entire property. We are looking at the potential of putting up some kind of gate that will keep, we're going to post, I don't know if we posted the property yet or not. We're going to post the property because that way if anything happens, then at least we are backed by, it was posted, if somebody gets hurt on there type of thing. We talked about putting just a gate up to restrict access to it, to keep people out of there when they're not supposed to be in there. The front would be pretty easy, we think, because if you did it from the back of the property to the left, at their backyard, over to the other side of the town property, that's a short amount of, we need to do chain link fence or something across there with a gate in the middle. And we're throwing around a bunch of different ideas. Obviously, we're not in a rush to do this. It's just something that needs to be done. We have our insurance company that's coming in later this month,
It's next week.
next week.
And so there'll be a published report then with their findings of what they think needs to happen down there if there is such a concern with the insurance.
Yeah, their main focus is going to be, what's happening next week, the main focus is going to be on OSHA regulations and things like that. So they do like a mock inspection and give us, tell us what will need to be corrected, yeah.
Okay.
But I'm not sure, I don't know if the ones that are coming in next week, I'm not sure if those people are the same ones because we talked with our regular contacted, the insurance company. And Lisa's not the one that's coming in next week, it's a different group.
It's Christine.
Yeah, so Lisa's the one that we've been talking to about, and she is the one that expressed the concerns about, having kids on the property and things like that.
The other thing was, if you're just thinking about putting a gate at that area, my property, just speaking personally, faces that. I personally think that would be unsightly. And there's enough issues on my road already. I don't want to see the town doing something that would adversely affect my property value and my ability to sell in the future.
Do you think something like a small pipe thing that turns on a rod like we have down at the park that's further back would affect your property? I mean, like, what they have down at the park, they have a pipe.
Okay, so how would that really truly
You
keep
bring
people
it
from
around.
accessing the property?
Keep the vehicles from going in and out. You said it.
Could they go around that gate
No,
then?
you'd have to have a small chain link fence on either side
So
to
there would
stop
still be
it.
a fence with a gate?
Chain link is what they were talking about. Do you think that would affect your property?
Well, it's right in front of my house.
Okay. I'm just asking.
I mean, my windows, everything, and it's right there. I
Right.
have full view of all the town stuff that's happening.
Well, I have a
Just my
question.
personal opinion about that, just for thought.
I have a question about that. Is it cameras at the shop?
There are, yes.
Okay, because if it's cameras, you put up, no trespassing or private property signs. And if there is children, that was my concern, children.
Right.
If there's children playing in there and other people's vehicles, then the police should take care of that.
They should. I agree, they should, but if it's a barrier, the vehicle can't come in, there's nothing for the police to have to take care
But
of.
that's not gonna keep children.
No, it won't keep
out.
children, it won't keep children. but it'll
Right,
keep-
well, that's more my concern than other vehicles.
Well, mine
Because
would be,
that's too close to the river.
mine would be kids playing around the vehicles. If you stop the vehicles, kids can't get hit by a vehicle, if that makes sense. But I agree, both of them,
Yeah,
both of them.
so, if there's cameras, then the police should be going to those parents and saying,
I agree.
this is private property.
And that's why we have to put no trespassing, so we can enforce the fact
Yes.
that you can't be on it.
Yeah.
That's typically with that kind of thing, you want layers, right? So you want signage, if you
Yeah.
can have a physical barrier, and then the cameras, if somebody violates it, then you try to track them down. But it's usually a combination of things, environmental factors like a fence or a gate and signage, because you're trying to get a combination of things. We've had at least one incident of vandalism with vehicles in the green fence, what we call it impound lot, because we had some vehicles we have had that, they were damaged, somebody threw rocks at it. So, are they gonna walk and go under a pipe fence? Maybe, but it's an extra visual barrier to discourage people from going in there. So, it's not my decision, at the end of the day, it's council, but these are all things to consider. Is you have a visual barrier, you have a physical barrier. What are people more likely to see and respond to? Are they more likely to see and respond to a sign or a bright yellow gate like they see at the National Forest? It's not my place to decide, but there are things to think about. And we have had at least one vandalism down there, which fortunately was a vehicle that had been seized and not somebody's that, you know, if it had been a vehicle that was sitting down there that we were holding as evidence to be released back to somebody, then insurance companies paying for, you know, a $500 window because people were down there walking onto the.
Well, was that person on camera?
No, there's not, because it was back past where the water station is, back towards the road on that corner.
So our cameras will catch anybody that's like immediately around the, like,
Around.
within the real close proximity of the shop, so that we could see if somebody's going into the shop, we could hopefully catch faces on it. But when you're looking at that far distance, it's not gonna pick up.
But if someone's driving down there at night, will the camera pick up that vehicle?
It'll see a vehicle,
Yeah.
but if they're driving down, are you talking about driving down to the old, to the impound lot?
No,
Or just driving
to
down?
the shop.
It's hard to say at night, because they have to, typically you have to have special cameras to pick up anything. And if a vehicle's moving too fast, I mean, if you look at our park cameras, they're good quality cameras, but even as people drive by, it's really hard to pick up what the license plate would be or something to that effect.
On your show. The 3 or 4 people that their back property joined the town lot road, I know it's not a street, but can they be denied ingress and egress to the back of their property off that street?
Denied.
Yeah, be denied ingress and egress to use that maintenance shop road to go into the back of their property.
I guess at certain times it could be, yes. Like I mean, we'll have to talk about this even more. I've always thought it was kind of odd that there's not a lot of municipal locations that you can freely go onto someone else's property to drive on it at any time during the day.
You know, I'm just asking.
But yeah, I mean, is it something as in, you see Chris and you need to get to the back of your lot to do whatever you have to do? I don't know what you have to do.
Yeah.
But you do, I'm sure Chris would allow you to go in there and do whatever you gotta do. I just, and about a fence, a big fence going around and spending all that money, I don't see that. I mean, that's there's a lot better things to use money on than that. My personal opinion is, why are people just allowed to go in there? I could drive there at 2 o'clock in the morning, drive down there, hang around and remove something off a tractor and.
But is that what people are doing? I mean, is that happening?
Do you have to wait for it to happen, or do you do it so it never happens?
I guess, can I say just a couple of things, really, and I'm not, whatever you decide, I don't really care.
Oh, yeah, I mean, this is just something we've just been talking about for a long term.
My question is, one of my questions for the council is, if this property belonged to those people, would they allow people to be all over their property? And then at some point here in the next 10 years, 5 years probably, our roads going to need to be resurfaced. Since everybody's using that road, would they be willing to put money towards helping us maintain our road? I doubt it. I doubt both of those questions will be answered no from anybody that orders and uses that road.
Well, did you
We've
say
seen
our
all
tax
kinds of.
money already goes towards that though?
I know, but
You're
really,
a resident,
I don't get to use
so
that as a
it's-
personal, I don't get to use that as a personal property. You know,
That's my
just
kind
a place to go.
I see what you're saying. If
We've had our lane blocked by cars driving in the ditch. We've had our lane blocked by cars being yard sales. We've had kids throwing balls against our buildings. Go down there in the snow one time. Go down in the snow and see the tracks through the property. Is that, would you all allow that on your property?
I see what you're
Just a question, it's just a question of thought. I think for years, it's just been, okay, well, I can do what I want to do down here. And I think it's time to do it. Just the other day, a dump truck pulled in and dumped a load of gravel. Not on our property, back to Crossstar property, dumped a load of gravel. There's vehicles in and out there all the time. 3 this last week. Is that a big deal? Maybe. But if it was your property, would you allow them to do that? That's my question. or will there be, would you throw a fit? You know, it's been going on for a long time, and personally, as a supervisor down there, I think it's time for it to stop. People can drive in there anytime they want to steal a trailer or anything, so why don't we secure it? And I've talked about securing it for a long time. So, I mean, if for, in the cost for securing it with a gate across there and a little bit of fence, you're talking less than $1,000. Most of it can be done by our employees. Say, we lock a gate at the park to keep people out of the park. They have a pole gate so that people can't run into the park, to drive into the park and do what they want to do. There's a lot of our properties that probably need to be secured. That's not the only one. I can go on. There's a bell road that gets used the same way that needs to be secured, and I tried to do that and stirred up a whole bunch of stuff by just putting a chain up, because we actually had property damage. So we put a chain up. So it's more about it. It's, you know, I think the comments that I've heard are just people that maybe feel like they're owed a little bit more than the rest of the town citizens, but that's just my opinion. Good. If you're asking me a question, sure, but you.
I can see the pros and cons here both ways, honestly. But on the gate issue, when would the gate be open and when would it be locked?
7 to 4.
It would be open.
7 to 4. Absolutely. The rest of the time would be locked.
Open when you get there and close when you leave.
Unless we look at some kind of gate that has a card reader or some kind of sensor that would open for our vehicles.
It would be powered by electricity.
I mean, we haven't got that far in this whole process. This is just something that we started considering.
Our guys went out, we discussed the gate with AC, and went out and put some marks on the ground, and it spiraled out of control. We don't have any clue what we're even thinking about doing. We just were discussing things. That's how it all got started. It spiraled out of control, and I've just heard all kinds of comments, and I think, wow. But again, the whole gate, like it's a park painted the right color, and some chain link fence that's painted the right color, $1,000 is probably over with, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, it's nice to leave it open during the day like that, because a lot of older people use that for a walkway to exercise instead of being out on the streets too, you know, and everything.
Well, that's probably the last thing we want is people walking in there when we have heavy trucks and equipment going in and out.
That's the issue with the liability. That's what we're running into with the insurance company, is the liability of people being on the property.
Even old commoners like me?
Anyone, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I mean,
anytime that anyone is on the town property, it can be a liability against the town, so.
But I'm an employee, so
you are a little bit different. You're considered an employee, yes. Yeah, you're a little bit different.
But you're talking about painting too, so be thoughtful with that, with the looks of what it would look like.
All the gate and stuff?
Yeah, you're talking about painting the right color.
Oh, yeah.
So,
And I don't think any of them talk about putting up some gaudy spike thing with, you know.
I'm still not for it. I think it's unnecessary.
Okay. Any other business? Any other business?
I want to thank the Virgins for putting up the flags yesterday, and every time they do, in case of good, thank you for that. They always do a good job. It's an respect for them.
It does. Okay, now we're time for public comment. Anybody want to make a comment? Now's the time to come up, introduce yourself, and any comment? And thank you everybody for attending. Meeting's adjourned.